Kind of shake it off. Okay, so I wanted to do these for a while, and just because what I experienced during my channeling session is just so widely different. So I'll call this the behind the scenes series. Still having a hard time talking as a human being after I channel. So yeah, so I this is for the series that I just got done recording in the sweater. I purposely did not change this time around. So, but I wanted to kind of I summarize it to myself, and then if it is actually helpful for anyone, it all actually happens to me whenever I channel. Obviously, my personality is actually in the form, and then I will kind of tell you where I am right now, of what the channeling is doing or how I'm doing it, and then whatever actually came out of this particular channeling session. So, one, all of them seem to be just so. The way it works is I get a concept and an idea, right? And usually they're energetically linked, right? So there will usually be a theme that 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 we are, well, I will say this. I usually go through my life experiencing sort of a certain set of tribulations or happenings, and I'm trying not to channel here too much because I need to disconnect from it. So as I live my life, right, shit happens. I will just say that, and so I'm always trying to interpret it, and I'm always trying to make myself aware of what's happening, how am I feeling it, where is it fitting in a large puzzle, and then as you can tell, I'm very um um compartmentalized, defining type of a human being, which is obviously not what these channelings are at all. But as I interpreting things in my personal life, I do these videos in hopes that one, it will bring clarity to me of what the heck is happening to my body in this particular set of time, but then two, I'm hoping it will just be useful to somebody out there, right? Because if I'm going through it, and then honestly, Elliot, my husband, is going through it, then obviously somebody, maybe one other person, is going through it there. So that is why I do them. And that is what I have been doing them this entire time. And so for this particular session, my thought process is, well, I'm experiencing something that I've never experienced before, right? And so I ask for higher guidance, and then allow them to come through to kind of explain to me, okay, this is what's happening. And because I do them in 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 sessions, all in one session, like four or five of them in one session at a time, but I upload them, uh, you know like a week out, from one another, then therefore the message behind them actually resonates, always resonates, but it starts to really resonate for the week that it comes out. So somehow, through the magic of the spirit, they kind of make it that way. To whatever I said, in the third session of this particular set, 3 weeks from now will be in total resonance with me, and then ideally whoever is listening to. And so, what came through, what I noticed this time, one is, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's this some sort of sound outside. Well, currently there's a plane flying, but then there's some sort of um, leaf blower sound outside. And so, in one of the videos, whenever I was channeling, so usually what happens is whenever I channel, I, as Tanya, exist in it, but I'm not necessarily you're right, I'm not processing, well, one, I'm not speaking any information, right? So the information that is being spoken is going through my vocabulary filter, and then it comes through so the right that they almost like send, I would maybe position it this way. I have some sort of feed that comes through that has a general message, and then it comes into my field of knowledge or my vocabulary, right? And then it propagates itself in some form, right? Because none of them are scripted, as you can tell. None of them are anything. And half of the time, I'm like trying to interpret how to explain this to myself. And so I am cognitive in most of them, with exception of one, just the last one. Um, and so for the most part, they're interpreting, or they're sending the message. My physical form acts as a receiver, right, as a channel. I am interpreting it out, and I'm talking to the camera, and then at the same time, always I have this side channel that is actually my, I would, let's say, monkey mind, that is running right here, and it is, whatever. It just almost has like a little chitter chatter noise of its own, but it's usually coinciding with whatever they're sending is. So as I'm blobbing on, in here, they're sending the message out, and I'm almost interpreting. Sometimes I'm asking questions. Sometimes I'm going, oh, that's deep. So I'm always like, almost sounds like a double personality disorder at the same time, except slightly different somehow. I'm sure clinically slightly different. And so yeah, so that is what happened. But today, because I became very concerned about the noise that is happening outside right now, my chatter brain here like totally went into some sort of overdrive over worry of how this noise will come in through the speaker here. And so then, I was like over here thinking about it. And then, but of course, obviously, the speech was already flowing, or was still flowing. So I continued to have the speech flow as I was here talking to myself about the sound. But then I realized, wait, I am completely disconnected from the words that are coming out of my mouth, and I am not even drawing cognitive awareness. And so what I wanted to point out to myself is it kind of shifted something inside. It like shifted this perception to where, wait, maybe it allowed me to open myself further to me being completely separate, right? Like maybe the control portion of myself that I specialize in running so much was almost not allowing me to run, to fully surrender. It almost felt that way. And so whenever I started worrying about the leaf blower, it almost allowed me to like to to disconnect so much that then at some point when I connected back, I realized, oh wait, I am completely not in. Um, and so then for the second portion, after I stopped talking, worrying about the leaf blower, and I was speaking, I realized there was this frequency shift. Like I allowed this energy to sink further into me than ever before. And so I got all excited about it because I experienced something new. And so when Ilya came in the middle, I was all like, giddy about it. Uh, but then I realized, oh no, I need to record the next video. And so the last video that I will re- I recorded, and I'm not sure what other, I don't know whether any of them call until I actually upload them. So, but I would say is the voice of the source. Maybe I will call it that, but something around those lines. Maybe now I have to call it that since I said that a lot. I don't know. But so in that video, I realized that is what they're calling me to do, right? So the reason why I got so distracted about the leaf blower noise is because they wanted me to release that sense of self that was still sitting there listening to what is it that was coming out of my mouth, and basically completely disconnect. Which is actually extremely not similar. It's actually it was completely the same as what happened to me whenever I was channeling the book, right? I would sit down, it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and I like go, okay, let's just start, right? Because I'm halfway asleep anyway. But because it was 4 AM and I'm halfway asleep, like, I was too tired to run this chatter, versus right now it's the middle of the day. And so I think that 4 AM hour whenever I channeled the book out basically made it to where my brain was just too lazy to try to be in control. And so the reason why I was able to channel it out, so quickly and also without any, interpretation of self is because I was kind of like sleeping over here, but basically just typing right here. And so this is what happened where I went into my worry mode about the leaf blower. I basically disconnected unintentionally, and then what was coming out was basically the essence of what I typed. And so I think the source between what I typed and what I channeled in that one video is the same. And so hopefully, I mean, I know they said that you will this is an energy transmission, so you're able to feel that. That is what my book is an energy transmission. So I think that's the same. So I'm thinking the frequency is the same between my book and whatever that video was. But I'm hoping you are able to feel it because on my end I'm feeling it. And that's what's interesting to me is I am like I feel like I'm an idiot for not having enough words, and I know English is my second language, but I don't think that's the limiting factor. To describe what is it that I'm actually feeling like in my body. It is like, all consuming, all just just magic pouring out, not pouring out of me in a sense that I'm trying to identify it as me, has nothing to do with my ego. It's just the energy that I feel, the love that I feel, that they're channeling in and then pushing out into the videos is just all consuming. So I really hope it comes through. That is one of my things that often wonder. Maybe I will express my concern in this video. Is that, does it come through? Right? I feel, to me, obviously it comes through. My biased audience who does share opinions with me about the video tells me comes through. But I'm hoping it comes through on the larger scale. And not because today I was evaluating the purpose of this. Like, what am I doing it? And so what I've come to is that the energy that I feel and the love that I feel whenever I do channel these things out is so pure and so overwhelmingly comforting and natural. And it just feels like that is the essence of me. But I also know that is the essence of everyone else. And so that like, I'm going to start crying because I cry whenever I think of this. Because whenever I think of humanity going through life in my three-dimensional small brain, uh, not feeling that, just the idea that somebody might be going through life and not feeling what I feel in this, 10 minutes at a time here and there whenever I channel these things. But usually to me, this is a 2 or 3 hour set. And so I'm just all encompassed in this energy for 2 or 3 hours. And then I sit back and go, my gosh, if just 1/10% of what I feel can come through into this video, it will be worth it. And so that is why I do them. And so I hope it comes through. So I'm kind of sitting here analyzing this from my personal self, because I was analyzing purpose today. I was analyzing purpose behind, like, why, right? Because in the long run, everything is perfect and everything is an expression of divine, and somebody feeling or not feeling something is the perfection within itself. And so from that standpoint, I don't actually see the need to do something or to say something, right? But at the same time, I am so in my human three-dimensional form most of the time that I get giddy and excited and I feel things and I interpret things. And so the nuance of that expression is so real on my plane here. But because I'm touching on planes outside of my plane, that I guess I feel the calling to have this be experienced in the 3D. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm rambling. But that's what these things usually are. Anytime I record these things, now I'm gonna have like the whole setup that Elliot decided to take in. But yeah, yeah. I hope comes through. So that is what my hope is. And it flows in me more and more with each time I do it. So, and I'm not saying that is why I'm doing it, but I'm thinking the amplified experience of me being able to feel it more, I'm hoping causes by some effect to have this come through into the video more so than ever before, right? So I'm hoping each video carries the truer essence of that energy better than it did before. Although obviously that's not even a concept, but that is a concept I'm concerned about at some point in this space and time right now as I stop channeling. But of course, then I'm getting it's all good, so it's all perfect. So yeah, so I get super excited whenever I disconnected, and that is what I wanted to make sure that came through. And so then oh yeah, and so the other part is whenever I went channeling the last video, or the last one where I felt like it was basically the same source as the book. My myself completely disconnected. I wasn't in it at all until, and then you will see it later. Like I went through some sort of like weird phase. So I don't know if that part will be cut out or not, because that seemed like it went on forever. Where I was like, wait, am I supposed to say anything, or I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. Um, and so yeah, no, but while I was channeling the source, it did not happen to me when I was typing, because when I was typing, like my fingers were moving, and then I was kind of like looking at the words on the screen. So it was slightly different. But this time, I was staring at the camera, and I have the white curtain behind me. And so the white curtain became like I see the fold lines in the curtain. I couldn't see the fold lines in the curtain at all. It was just like this, almost like, whenever you look at a space like right here, how like the background just blurs it. That happened to me. So like my vision, I don't know, maybe I went cross-eyed in the video. I don't know. Maybe I did. I have no idea. So I hope I didn't grow cross-eyed in the video. That would be so terrible. Yeah. So like I was just staring at the video, and I almost felt like my eyes were like glued somehow. And then so what was coming through me was all, it carried so much frequency that like I couldn't move. Like I was just glued into eyes and body. It was weird. So it was almost like, it's almost like there was this thing that just kind of like plopped into me, and then I didn't feel a thing. I just feel like it was just heavy. I was just heavy in it. And oh yeah, and the curtain was white, and then I saw these iridescent lines at the curtain, because it's white. I like saw them in the curtain. So I don't actually know what that, but obviously I'm very giddy and excited about it. So I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah. So there's a lot to think about. And as I will inevitably rewatch this, I'll go, "Oh, Tanya, you sure did get excited about that," as I always do. So yeah, to Tanya, this is what happened. And to anyone else that is watching, if this is helpful in any way, this is actually I, and all the other ways of talking is not really I. So, but the I is quite amazing in this version of self. And so just like the video say, you get to experience this new extrapolation, the new life, the new beginning of you. So I feel like I'm experiencing it, and allowing it to flow. So I'm taking my own advice here, I guess. Not really, but kind of sort of. And just allow it to flow. Just allow the excitement to be there. I get excited a lot. So why not, right? So la la.